welcome to another awesome day of FileMaker training at fmtrain.tv. I'm Richard Carlton, creator of this mayhem that you see before you. Upcoming broadcast schedule if you want to see what's going on. Today we have Christian Schmidt doing monkey spread. So if you have a sandwich and you'd like a fresh layer of monkey spread on your sandwich, it's good stuff. I highly recommend it. Today we're going to be doing monkey spread on Windows, which is great. For those of you wondering about it, there is an awesome coupon that you can have. All I have to do is find the coupon hiding on my desktop on my computer. Hang on here. Where'd it go? Oop, nope. Nope. There it is. There it goes. The monkey spread supercode. Monkey spread supercode. Get 20% off monkey spread. Training days. Coupon code training days. Get 20% off of awesome stuff. Anytime you get 20% off, it'd be better if Christian just paid you to use it, right? But the world being what it is, we do have to incentivize the poor guy to do some work for us. So we do appreciate that, keeping it up to date. But yes, we greatly appreciate it. It's Christian Schmidt over there. He's dialing us late in the middle of the night from Germany somewhere. I'm not sure where, in an undisclosed location. So today is Christian Schmidt. Tomorrow will be Kyle Williams for 2 days. It's all good content. So if you're a Windows person, today is your day, because today we love you more than Mac people. It's a rare day where that happens, but that is today. So I'm going to hit full screen. It's not really full screen. All right, we can see your window. You were good to go.
Yeah. So today I installed you an English version of Windows. To make your life better.
Okay, yeah, because I don't. I mean, one thing is Windows, but if it's a German Windows, I mean, that just might be too much. I might want to kill myself.
All right. Okay, so I made a little example for you guys to show you what we can do on FileMaker Pro on Windows to enhance your script workspace experience a little bit. So what we can do with this plugin is we can install hotkeys and put on a calculation to do something. So let me run here, install hotkey. And now you have to trust me that I'm pressing keys on the keyboard, because I will press Control F5, and something may or may not happen. Oh, something flashed. Again. For me, oh, there it is. Oh, it got away. I pressed it too fast. So let's press it, and the data viewer shows. Press it again, and it hides. So we can technically define hotkeys to run MBS plugin commands, and they'll do things like running menu commands. And let me show you how this works. So we have here, we register a hotkey for the F5 key with modifiers being control key. So you can use whatever combination you want, but it should be something nobody else is using. So I just picked here Control F5, and then we add a little calculation for this hotkey. That's here. So hotkey set evaluate. This sets an expression to be evaluated when the hotkey is pressed, and in this case it calls the menu bar function here, the run menu command function, and it passes the ID of a menu command, which turns out to be the tools menu data viewer, which has this number, and we use the number here because the actual name in the menu changes for every language, and we have to specify the menu entry, and this goes either by the name or by the ID. And since the ID doesn't change, we put the ID. And I can actually run the data viewer and can use our trace feature to actually show you this thing running. So let me just put in MBS trace, and I run the little debug view application for Microsoft here to see all the output live. So I can again try to press Control F5. And as you see here, the plugin is logging that it evaluated the expression and shows the data viewer. You got that?
I think that makes perfect sense. We do have a quick question from Larry. Do all of the Windows MBS functions work on Mac? Or do you have any Windows specific?
Yeah, we have Windows specific versions, like registry. There is no registry on a Mac, but we have one on Windows, and we also have functions on Windows to talk to scanner devices or to import pictures, and we have different functions for Mac.
Got it. Hopefully that answers your question, Larry. But yeah, I think.
So I think from our documentation, MBS AU and statistics, now here Windows. So we have 4,317 functions for Windows, and a few of those are the hotkeys. And here only we have here functions only for Windows. So that's 286.
Got it. Okay.
But today we just want to show you how to combine a couple of MBS functions on Windows to make your life easier. So the next one is insert hotkey for install hotkey for insert snippet. So let's run that. You see we looked here that we registered F6 control key. So let's go to the script workspace, go to any script you like this test script here. And now let me press Control F6, and you see it magically created some script steps. You may wonder, how do we make script steps here? So let's take a look on the script here. So we register again a hotkey, and as a payload for this hotkey, we have here a longer script, well, a calculation. Can I make this bigger? So basically, we again use set evaluate, and then we have a let statement here. And the let statement starts with some big XML, which you see is escaped with a lot of backslashes. But you don't need to have to do this yourself. It's just an example here. And then we take this XML, we put it on the clipboard with an MBS function here as a script step. So it's the same as if FileMaker would have copied those script lines. And then the script will here press down the control key, press the V key for, well, pasting, and then release the control key.
Well, that's really cool. I mean,
So
I always end up saying this.
We put the right content on the clipboard, and then we paste it.
So if you got a script step that you're constantly using places, you can just copy it to a set of keys.
Yeah, we will come to more. So I can again press F6, and you see here in the log window, we see, well, all the functions gave okay, everything is working wonderfully. This works. Technically, this can also work on Mac, but then you would have to modify it a little bit. Okay, I can delete this. Any questions so far?
We do have one, but not related to this specifically. Do you need the plugin on both server and FMP in order for it to work?
Well, you install the plugin where you like to use it. So you installed it in the FileMaker Pro. In case you want to use it in the script workspace, like on Mac to get the syntax highlighting, or here on Windows to get this nice new hotkey. You install it on the server for perform script on server, for data API, for scheduled script, and for web direct, and maybe even custom web publishing if you use that. So you install it where you use it. And for a lot of people, this means you install it on both.
Got it. And then I'm going to ask this one, even though I think this might veer us completely off topic. But he wanted to know if you had a he calls it a plugin, but I think he means like a step somewhere that reads the weight from weighing scales.
The weight from a scale. Well, we have a couple of customers using our plugin to talk to a scale. Usually a device connected with a serial port cable or USB cable or Ethernet cable. So you would use the plugin to use our socket functions or our serial port functions to send a command to a scale and then get back the weight. I've so far implemented this for 2 or 3 scales over the years. It's usually always the same. You send a command there to ask the scale for the current weight and get it back. And then you pass the result, whether the result is some binary data or it's just a block of data where there is this number somewhere. It's not too complicated.
Well, there you go, Michael. You can, in fact, parse out weight from weight scales using a Monkeybread function. That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Next thing. Because we want to have more than one snippet, we made a little database here where we put the XML of the snippet. And here I have some XML, and you see it's showing a custom dialog, and then it has some if and if for the different choices. A nice snippet you may use someday. As the first thing you may notice is it's colored. So we have color for the XML here. Let me just go in the definition to show you how you do that. So whenever you have a field for storing some XML, you can go and make a calculation there and say MBS XML colorize and then self. And this is a calculation. And you have it here for the field. So whenever the text changes, this calculation will do the coloring. And of course, you have to uncheck this box so it actually works. And so whenever I put in some text here, every keystroke, it colorizes it. So this is a snippet. We can copy it to the clipboard or paste it from the clipboard. So I can later make a new one here. And now we got a script to install a picker dialog. Yeah, saves the script. So installed. And there's a button here, export all snippets to folder. This creates a folder here on the documents folder. Open it, please. This computer is busy streaming. So we have here XML files for all the records I have in the database. And now I go back to the script workspace. And we registered hotkey is F7. So I just go here to the test script, clear that. And now you have to trust me that I press Control F7. And this dialog opens. And the dialog shows me the list of files, of XML files, and I can pick one. So I can pick dialog box with 3 choices. Select, and we get that.
That is, again, exceedingly cool. We do have a question related to this. How do you place a script snippet again into MBS?
Yeah, we do it the other way around. But let me just take another snippet. So I press Control F7 to open this little thing here. And let's say I want a loop. And I get this loop. So it's like the context menu commands we have on the Mac to insert something. And it's a hotkey. And we made this nice dialog so you can pick where you have more than one choice. So let's go. So we have a few snippets here, like there's one here for script parameter and find sequence, error handler, lots of nice things, looping over portal, records, function header. Like you make a new function, you can just say here, let's make it. So you make a new function, so you want a function header, and then you want your function to have a loop over the records, and maybe you have to do a find sequence, and so you can add all the snippets you like, and you quickly get the different snippets. And now let's make a new snippet. So we go make a new script. So our new snippet is, let's say we make a loop, quickly get a few records with an if and an exit loop if, nothing special, just a few lines here. And now I go and I select the script steps. I go here and copy them. Copy. So I make a new record here. Now you see the paste from clipboard button, and I get the XML for my current script steps. And we give them a name, and this is test or whatever. So I click the export button again, so we get all the XML files written. And now I can go back to the script and use my F7 hotkey, and there's a new test here. Select, and it just added it. So you can select whatever script steps you like, and then copy them, paste them in a new record here, and then add them. Any questions for this?
I don't see one. I think that might have answered Alpha Lima. So
anyone likes it?
Yeah, because he said, how do you place the script snippet again into MBS, which you just answered, I think. So
yeah, you copy it here in the script workspace, and then you make a new record and just here paste from clipboard. And now let's make a little other thing. I just thought about it. Why should we limit it to script steps? We just copy a button here.
Oh, that would be cool.
Let's see what happens. I mean, paste from clipboard. Yeah, I didn't pay myself. Yeah, so we get here the XML for the button. So let's write that to the script folder. Okay, and now we go on edit layout. And what happens if I press this command? Control F7. Oh, I get the dialog. Okay. So I select button, and where did it go? Let's try again. This is the first time I try it. I just thought it may actually not work. Okay. So let's see. Is there an error here? So I may check that. Maybe I can make it work. That would be fantastic. But
that would be cool. But
otherwise,
even with the script copying, that's fantastic. Yeah, Alpha Lima A1 basically said that's great.
Oh, here it says script step. Okay. Yeah, that wouldn't work. Let's say. So let's take a look on how this one is defined. So it's Windows. So we define it here. This is the calculation. So we have again an evaluate, and now we go here and build a file path. So we should make a space between. So this is asking for the user documents folder, puts in the snippets name for the file path where the snippets are stored. We do a file listing, looking for all files, I think all visible files. We remove the XML from the file names, reset the dialog, then we add the items to the dialog, put in them text, shoe snippet, then we run the dialog, and if the answer is okay, we put the thing on the clipboard. And here, let me just put in auto, because it should depend on the XML. It should pick automatically the right type. So because I just changed it, I will have to reset it, and the easiest way would be to just register them again. For you, this would probably be something in your, well, you would have a database for storing your stuff, and then you would run a script and start to set up the hotkeys. So we have to have the hotkey defined. I hope the new one, the new definition. So again here, we click somewhere, F7, yeah, F7, and now we pick the button. And there
it is! That's cool.
So I had to change it to auto mode. Okay, so you cannot just copy the script steps. You could also, as we just discovered today, put other things on the clipboard. Let me just look on the list. So we can have value lists, script steps, layouts, custom functions, tables, fields, and there are two different. So older layouts, newer layouts. So you could put different things on the list, and this is for developers. So you can make a special version of this with a different hotkey. So you could have one hotkey for script steps, another hotkey for buttons or whatever, and then use different folders so you could have them a little bit distinguished. Otherwise, I think this is quite cool.
I think that's really cool. Yeah, people are saying awesome, very useful. That's great. So this is cool.
Yeah. So there is a version of the Snippet database coming with the new version 12 of the plugins. So it's in examples, and then there is a Win-only folder because this is mainly intended for Windows. So I put it here, Snippets for Windows. And I will later update it so the next version of the NBS plugin will ship with a better version. But if you just do the changes we made here today with the auto keyword here, you may fix your copy to also do buttons.
Copy buttons to your heart's content.
Yeah, auto. Oh, that's the Mac version here, because on the Mac we run the paste command via the menu command functions. But on Windows this doesn't work, so we go with a keyboard shortcut here. It's a little different. So the Mac and the Windows version of the script are different, but the auto makes the button work.
There you go.
So, any more questions?
Nope. I've been informed that the Great Wizard did it again, so I'm assuming that's referring to you. So, otherwise, I think you're good to continue.
Well, that's it.
Well, hey, in that case, any questions, everyone, about how to do this? What
yeah.
Questions about Windows-specific functions, or anything that NBS can do in general, like the question about weighing scales?
Well, as we are on Windows, we should maybe check what we have on Windows-specific things here. Like we can on Windows work with the printer. We have our scanning code for the Windows image acquisition. So if you have a flatbed scanner or a document feeder, you can scan automatically in Windows. You can determine the location of your computer. You can play videos with Windows Media Player. You can post notifications. We have some machine learning support, and we have some hardware query stuff with Windows management interface. Let's see. Oh, it doesn't work. Okay. Does it not work always? Or I may have to check, because last time I think it worked. No, this doesn't work. That's always when you do something unprepared. Let's see if the notifications work. So I create a notification. Oh, I initialize. Okay. I create a notification. I show it.
There
There
it
it
is.
Yeah, this works.
So you can go get the notifications file. You have one script there. AL wanted to ask you if you could go over again how you access a snippet for Windows. Like, where is that located? How does he grab that file to use?
Yeah, well, if you download MBS plugin 12 on our website, like we just released it yesterday. So on the MBS monkeybreadsoftware.com website, I can put it in the chat. So you go and you download here the zip file on Windows, and in the zip file you look in examples and then the Win-only folder, and there should be snippets for Windows. And as I said, there will be in the next week or two, there will be a new pre-release with the updated example. Or you can email me later if you need a copy, urgently. Okay.
A reminder that the email is support at Monkeybread. Is it .de?
Support at monkeybreadsoftware.de, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's on the website. So let me just show you another function. So we have a function to send an email via your email application on Windows. You may want to try that if you use like Outlook and you like to send something without the built-in functionality. You can use our Win send mail functions and build your email. Then you can use a send method, which will then pass it to Outlook or Thunderbird or whatever email application you have that supports the Windows Mail API.
That's nifty. I'm sure that would be useful in a lot of situations,
Yeah.
especially for Windows-specific email.
So, yeah, any other questions? Or?
I'm looking. Y'all have any questions? This is a great time to ask them, especially since I know I've got a lot of like Windows-specific people here. So, like, is there anything that you're curious if Monkeybread can do for you?
Okay, let me just copy a parse. Oh yeah, there's a parse. So yeah, so I click here. So desktop. Let me take this folder, and this is a feature we have for Windows, which allows you to monitor a folder for changes and get a script trigger when the folder changes. So let's try. I just watch my plugin folder, and now I go here and say, I delete something. Oh yeah, I got a record saying, well, the folder got modified, and the modification was it got deleted. So also the parent got modified.
That's nifty.
So we have that similar feature for Mac too. But most people just use a timer and check the folder listing regularly, which you can also do. But this is a background watching tool, and so you can define your script to call, the method, and then we say here add directory, which directory you want to watch. Then there are a few flags and things you like to watch, and we just watch. That's probably everything. So and then we have the watcher script getting called when something changed, and the plugin will collect those change event, and then we can loop over them, asking for all the changes, and we get the file path and what happened, and then you can decide what to do. Like some people like to have hot folders where they just wait for new files coming in and then have a script run whenever there is a new file.
Which is awesome. Yes, to quote Era, brilliant. He does have two questions, actually. So I Are there any Windows Server only functions? And but actually, before you answer that, he did mention that the email thing you had is really useful because he has problems with the 32-bit Outlook. So
Yeah, this is one of the reasons we made this win send mail function, because, well, the bit number of Outlook and a FileMaker doesn't need to match for this. This goes over DLL interface, crossing the process from one process to another, so it doesn't matter. And you may try it with attachments. You can even have HTML if you use an attachment. So you can have an email with no text but an HTML file as attachment, and then this HTML file will be used as the email content for Outlook. And so we made those functions. They are Windows specific. They don't work on the server because, well, there is no Outlook on the server. But you can check our functions for Windows. And we also have here a list for the functions on the server. And then you can click here the Windows. So those are functions running on the server on Windows. Like if you want to know how much memory is used by the current FileMaker copy you are running, then you can ask that. And so for Windows on server, you can learn 3,387 functions. And those are, of course, functions which can run on Windows and functions which don't need any user interface, like a dialog box.
Kind of an interesting specific question from Era. Can you access PC ODBC using FMP asking a server? I mauled this, I'm sorry. Can you access PC ODBC using FileMaker Pro accessing a server-hosted file?
PC ODBC?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what.
Too many short letters.
Yes.
But, well, I heard there was ODBC.
Yes.
So I can take a look on my SQL functions. And we have SQL functions to connect to various databases directly in a script from FileMaker, and that includes ODBC, as well as things like Microsoft SQL Server or Postgres, MySQL, and a couple of others. So if someone needs to connect in a script to a ODBC server, ODBC database server in a script, you can do that. You can make the connection. You can maybe insert some records. You can make a select and get some records to FileMaker. We have a few convenience functions for that. Like there's an insert. Where is it? No, yeah, insert records. Let's see if there's an example. Okay, so if you connect to a foreign database like MySQL, PostgreSQL, whatever, you can run a SQL command there to get some records. You can execute the command, and then you get back some records. And you can tell the plugin to insert those records directly into your FileMaker database. So you pass in the file name of your open FileMaker database, the name of the table, and the field names as you name them in FileMaker. So the field names don't need to match. You can use any open file here, but usually you have the current file if you pass an empty string. So you can use the plugin to connect to a database, and we should show that. How do we connect? We have a connect command. Let's see. So we have connect commands here, and those example strings may help you to pick to make a connection. Like if you have an ODBC database like Microsoft Access, you can tell the plugin to use the Microsoft Access driver for ODBC, tell it the parameters for this driver, like where the database file is, username, password, and then you can make your connection. And with the plugin, it's usually you connect within a script. So you make a connection, in this case MySQL, you run a command, you may, like here, select something, you get some records, you do something, and on the end you can freeze the connection. So it's not like ESS where you have a permanent connection. Also, you can, of course, just keep the connection open, but the database server usually closes it after a few minutes if you don't use it. So, okay.
Okay, and then we have a lot of questions suddenly. So, do you have a function which fixes the layout number problem on Windows as it's limited to just 256 layouts?
No. We can't increase the number of layouts on Windows.
Yeah,
That's something
to send Claris an email about.
Yeah, you know, there's probably somewhere source code where you have this definition maximum layout is 256, and someone would have to go and actually edit this text and then make sure it doesn't break anything.
Okay. Yeah, probably. And then anything to send, receive SMS text messages?
No, I receive user web service for that. So I think we used to have an example for, let me see if I still have that. So we have a couple of web service examples, and yeah, we used here, but this example is a little bit old, I think. So there was an API with a company called Twilio to send text messages, and if you sign up with an account, you can of course use the web service to send text messages, but you can also use any other provider and ask for their API and write a little script with a plugin, or use insert from URL in FileMaker if you prefer that. But this is an example where we build a request and send it to the server to deliver the text message.
Hopefully that answers your question, AL9. And then we got one from Peter. Is there credit card reader support or PR similar, like personal ID, electronic driver licenses?
We have those smart card functionality. And if I remember correctly, I just deleted that folder. So what happens if I undo? Do we get it back? Smart card, there it is. So we have smart card functionality. And we used it so far to read identity cards in Belgium and I think Swiss health cards. But the plugin just does the data transfer. You could do whatever, send and receive whatever data you like. Let's see what we do here. So we can list the smart card devices. We can connect to one. We can read some status information, and then we go and transmit sequences of bytes like this one. This is a command for, I think, a Swiss health card to list something. I mean, I would have to look up what the command means, but basically you give whatever command you give as hex, you send it to the device, you get back a result, then you would analyze the result. And in our cases, we have some functions here to specifically for the protocol used in the health cards, so we can read the data directly. But otherwise, you would have to know the protocol of your card and then send your request. And the plugin just does the send and receiving. Let's see. So for one type of card, this command queries the serial number. No, this command. This is the header and command and version. And then we have here another call. What's that? Here. This is for the EID cards. I think in Belgium, the ID cards. So we send a command to select the folder and the subfolder, and then the next thing would be to read the file. I said it's the protocols may be card specific, so you would have to. That's yeah. So if you are in Belgium, of course, and this is all, of course, very useful for you. And where is it? So for Belgium, we also have this read file, and then here are the IDs. You will get the IDs because you can read the various files in the card. We have a function to decode it, your split values, which will then give you always the values which have an ID and the actual text. So this is a special standard, APDU protocol. So if your cards you use the same protocol, you may use the same read file function. It's just a transmit function, and you send whatever you need to send. And if the credit card reader would do the same smart card interface, you would have to send the command there. But usually you don't do that. I mean, doesn't everyone have some little device from a credit card processor company like Stripe and just sends in a request with a web service? Okay. Any other questions?
Yes. About the credit card. Does it do NFC? Do you do NFC Reader as well?
Yeah, it's the same smart card functionality.
Yep.
So as far as I know, people have done it. It's whether your smart card is to be pushed into the device, or if you just put it on top with NFC. The difficulty is more with the NFC, you have to be nearby, and we have to call the connect function. So you may end up having some button for the operator to click when the card is nearby, so the script can try to connect.
Yeah, I think that should hopefully answer your question about that, Ara, which is pretty sweet. Works really great. Really quick, another one from Alpha AL. Can you is about the SMS one specifically that we were talking about? He says, can you receive the SMS?
Well, receiving would also have to go for a web service, and then you could define either you have a script which calls the web service from time to time to ask if there are new SMS coming in, or you would use our webhook functionality to receive from the web service, or you may just have that go to some of your own web servers, maybe a PHP script or whatever, to take the callback and then do whatever you want to do, like using the data API to record in your table. But our webhook functionality could also be used. Let me just show you. We can try that on Windows here. So let me look for webhook. Where is it? There. So I can listen here on this machine on a specific port. Let's see. Didn't put in a license key. So it's listening, and now I need. Let's see. Command. Let's say go, and let me just connect to my all callback. Let's see. Oh, wrong port. 99999. And I have to probably give to the firewall and make sure that I seems to not work today, but it used to work on a Mac. I should do things which I tested before. Okay. Any other question?
Hi. Michael Kieran wants to know if you happen to remember the name of the function that they use to parse the stuff for the scales. But
Well, it depends on the scales. So if you just have a scale sending you text, if you only get text, you would use the FileMaker text functions. If you get binary data, you would go and use, probably end up using some math function here, decode number. So you would read the output from serial port, socket, whatever, as a hex encoded text, and then you would pass in the value for the number to the plugin with the decode number function, which then would take those hex noted bytes, reverse the hex encoding, and then take the bytes and read them as a number of a certain format. So if the scale would return you, let's say, a 64-bit integer with the number of grams, you would have to find those 16, also 8 bytes and 16 as hex, and you would have to find them in the result. Like probably they come always in the same spot of the answer, and then you would take those bytes and decode them here to a number you could use.
so.
But I've seen scales which send in a normal text answer with an error code on the beginning, and then maybe something like a few values, and one of the values is a number for the weight. Yeah, and if the webhook functionality works, which I could just use on a Mac, let me just copy this to the Mac. And you saw a wonderful error message. No, it works. Okay, let me open this on a Mac. And now I need to wait for FileMaker to launch. Yeah, okay, click Start. Again, I can just terminal, and let's say our website 199,000. Hello, and you see we get the request here. So the plugin is listening within FileMaker for incoming HTTP requests on your local IP with a certain port number, and we can read the URL passed. We can give you the raw request. We pass for you the headers, and we can also pass you the URL. Like it's missing here, but let's say say we add that here. Say we show you here the URL components. Yeah, like this. So let's run it again. Oh. Did it run the new script? Oh, I changed the wrong script. Okay. So we have several modes here. We can have a normal receiver. We have a receiver which keeps the connection open, so you can decide what to answer. We have a version to run on the server if you need that. So here, let's run it again. So we have here the parsed URL, and like if your URL has something like, see here some parameters, let's say hello is world, quotes, and the plugin would take the request and could pass you all the URL parameters, so you would even get the parameters shown here. So In this case, I'm running this local on my Mac. You can trigger the request from another computer. And because we have adventure today, let me just look. So my IP here is somewhere here. I go to a different computer, and now I curl with the IP. And run it. Wrong. Next question is if the connection is open to the outside world. Firewall. Yeah, we have another question while I check my firewall here. Because Locust is so nice because it allows everything.
Yes. Yeah, David wanted to know why use the FFF for the local listener. Because it's like the 127.0.0.1, but it had 4 Fs in front of it, and he's curious as to why that was the case.
Well, that's a IPv6 number.
And then Kyle wanted to know if you could use web.
Yeah, so I just turned off the firewall and the request came through. So this is a different computer, and from the number 5 to the number 136. And we got the request here and made a new record. So you can trigger from one computer to another. You just have to keep your firewall open, and then it should work.
Which is pretty awesome.
So if you have, let's say you have a scale again, and it has the ability to trigger if you get a weight, then you could have the FileMaker listen for it with our webhook functionality, and then get a JSON for the new measured weight.
Okay, yeah, which is awesome. And then there's kind of a couple set of questions, but they're all kind of like related to this. The demo is only looking at LAN URLs, so not sure if this could work for an external third-party app. Would love if this could work from authorized.net or some other sort of webhooks.
It should receive whatever you let through your firewall, and with a router you have to make your forwarding ports. So you have to tell your router for your internet connection that any incoming connection on a certain port number is routed to the right computer, and you could receive it. But usually if it's coming from outside, most people would have to go to their web server running in a data center. We intended this originally for a phone system. So you would have a phone system in your company. Every computer has a FileMaker Pro running with software. And if there's an incoming call, you would have a webhook to have the phone system inform the FileMaker Pro copy that on that computer there's a call coming in, and then you can go to the customer record and show it in FileMaker while your phone rings. Yeah, and we can do SSL if you need, so you can use HTTPS URLs.
So hopefully that answers your guys' questions, Kyle, David. And then I think one last question, and then we should be good for today. And I think it might be a good, fun, easy one to end on. Once you download the MBS file and unzip, how would I update my current version?
Well, if you don't do it by script because you didn't automate, okay, you will probably go and look for the plugin file in the extension folder and replace the file with the new version. So we have here the downloaded copy, and there is the new plugin, and then you copy the new plugin in the folder, and you may either use this extension folder or you may use the one in the user folder. So when you launch FileMaker, there is a button in the preferences to open the right folder, or you can just look for it yourself. So it's in your user folder, and then in the hidden folder called Add Data. And there's a local and a roaming folder. I usually don't know which one. So let's take a look somewhere. So here's FileMaker and FileMaker Pro. So what's now? Oh, my Windows is shutting down. Okay. So you just copied in the right folder, or you installed it by script.
Hopefully that answers your question, AL. Otherwise...
So in preferences on the plugin section, there is a button to show the plugin folder, and this will open a file path. So in this case, it's this one. But you can also just use go up, and in the extension folder. So and there's a FileMaker folder, and there's an extension folder, and then you can put it one plugin for all FileMaker versions, or you put it in the version-specific folder. Any other question?
No, I think... are there separate... Here's another one. Are there separate licenses for desktop and server?
Yes. But if you have a big company, we also have a site license for all your servers and clients.
Otherwise, I think we might be good. So...
Okay.
Thank you very much, Christian. This was fantastic. I hope this fixed all the Windows cravings that people have been having about Monkeybread specifically.
Yeah, please send me your questions, and please try the Snippets database, and otherwise in a week or so we have the new next beta with a new version.
Yes, which we will no doubt be talking about to Christian at some point. So, thank you so much. I think I'm going to run the closing music. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you.
Of an individual up here who may be a FileMaker license. Well, it's potentially expired. Look at the back of that car right there. Looks like the FileMaker license has expired. Sir, I need you to step out of the vehicle. Sir, step out of the vehicle. Sir.